Coming up on Carolina News.
Dawn of a dynasty. After the championship win, the women are back to celebrate with the capital city.
So you need players who have, an incredible, insatiable desire to want to succeed and win a national championship.
Storm the fountain. See how the University of South Carolina's campus celebrates the national championship win.
Growing native. How South Carolina gardeners are using native plants.
From the University of South Carolina, your news, your sports, your weather. Carolina News begins now.
Hello and welcome to Carolina News. I'm Ryan Dahlside.
Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Alexa Daly. The national champion South Carolina women's basketball team was welcomed home back by fans this afternoon.
Don Staley, along with Harris Pastides and Ray Tanner, spoke about this past season in a short conference to address fans. Our reporter Kyle Orens is live at Colonial Life Arena. Kyle?
Thanks, guys. I'm here live at Colonial Life Arena, where the welcome home celebration for the women's basketball team just wrapped up a few minutes ago. Fans swarmed the main entrance, waiting to welcome home the Gamecocks after they defeated UConn last night in the national championship game. Now, the scene here was absolutely insane. You could just feel the energy in the air. There was music blaring, Gamecock chants ringing out left and right. People were jumping up and down, just waiting to welcome home the Gamecocks, who arrived in Columbia earlier this afternoon. Several of the players spoke, including Lily Grissett, who told Gamecock Nation, "We getting lit tonight," as well as Aaliyah Boston and Destiny Henderson, both of whom said they couldn't thank the fans enough for their unwavering support throughout this year. Now, to really paint a picture of that support, it's worth noting the crowd extended all the way into the streets, and even though the team is now done speaking, people stuck around to take pictures and celebrate. When Dawn Staley and the women's basketball team walked out to the podium, people just went ballistic. This is part of what Coach Staley said to the crowd.
Every national champion in every sport has a common thing. And that common thing is you create a home court advantage and on the road that's unmatched. When you rock this building out, you put energy into our players to play their very best each and every time they step on the floor. And we want to just say thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
President Harris Pastides did say there will be a parade later on this week. For today, though, the celebrations here at Colonial Life Arena showed just how much this basketball team means to the University of South Carolina and to the city of Columbia. You can also expect the partying to continue because in a tweet addressing the fans, Dawn Staley said, "Throw the 24-hour rule out the door. Let's celebrate and party for a good little while." Reporting live from Colonial Life Arena, I'm Kyle Orens. Back to the desk.
Thanks, Kyle. South Carolina fans might be getting a free concert from famous country singer and South Carolina alum Darius Rucker. Rucker tweeted that if Gamecock women's basketball won the national championship, he would do a show on the Horseshoe. Harris Pastides responded saying he wanted the concert as soon as possible.
On that concert he was saying,
we're going to say that you said for free, we're doing it on the Horseshoe, we want it right away.
Rucker responded and said the sooner the better in regards to the concert. After the buzzer sounded to end last night's national championship game, celebrations started here on U of SC's campus. Reporter Callista Yost is outside of Thomas Cooper Library, which needed some cleanup today after a huge celebration last night.
The Gamecocks woke up this morning national champions, and as they were celebrating their win in Minneapolis last night, fans were here in Columbia celebrating too. Here at Thomas Cooper Library, it's all cleaned up now, but this is one of the spots where hundreds of students from USC's campus swarmed to celebrate the Gamecocks. Last night, hundreds of U of SC students took off their shoes and took a dip into the fountain outside of Thomas Cooper Library. They're cheering for the Gamecocks' national championship win over UConn last night. The Carolina girls led some cheers in plain clothes and bare feet, dancing along with a few members of the band. This is the Gamecocks' second national championship. Maybe next season we'll make it a third, but we don't know when that's starting yet. So once that schedule's released, we'll be counting down the days till opening night. Outside of Thomas Cooper Library, for Carolina News, I'm Callista Yost.
Thanks, Callista. We'll have more on the aftermath of that celebration at 4:30.
The weather has been really nice today, Ryan.
Yeah, Alexa, it's finally starting to feel like spring here in South Carolina. Let's go to Mac Hardy in the Weather Center to see how long it will stay that way. Mac?
Thanks, guys. Yeah, it's been absolutely beautiful today. About 75 degrees right now on USC's campus. Tonight it's going to get down into the 50s, a little colder. But tomorrow we've got some severe weather incoming, and I'll have more on that later in the broadcast for you guys. Back to you, Ryan and Alexa.
The Call Me Mr. program, a collaboration between South Carolina colleges and universities, is aiming to increase diversity in the pool of available teachers. The Misters are education majors getting hands-on experience in local classrooms. The program helps to create a diverse population of educators so students have teachers that look like them. Last week, the Thunderbirds from Shaw Air Force Base gave one woman the ride of a lifetime. Jessica Varney, who has spent the last year advocating for suicide prevention amongst veterans, got to ride in the jet as a show of appreciation from the pilots. The opportunity came after a nomination from her hometown, which caused her to be deemed a hometown hero by the Thunderbirds.
As inflation and gas prices rise, economic growth is becoming challenging and could cause a recession. The pandemic, the supply chain crisis, and the war in Ukraine are all slowing down the economy. Compared to this time last year, Americans are paying $1.40 more for gas. Experts advise consumers to plan out their trips to the gas pump and make a list before grocery shopping. Despite unemployment claims in South Carolina this week, the amount of claims is still above 1,500 for the fourth week in a row. This week's numbers are down 5% from 1,577 to 1,501. Yet Richland County had the second highest number of claims with 148. Greenville was the top with 153, and the third most was Spartanburg with 104.
Sustainable Midlands hosted a community tour to teach local residents about practices to preserve the environment. Many Columbia residents came out to learn how they can prioritize sustainability. They learned how to grow fruits, vegetables, native plants, and composting techniques to help the community thrive.
Coming up next on Carolina News.
See how native plants are being substituted for native invasive species and how it impacts the environment. Welcome back to Carolina News. In the past few years, more and more people are taking up gardening at their homes, but a lot of the plants planted are invasive and harm the environment. Our reporter Madison Blumenauer has the scoop on the current push behind getting rid of invasive species and instead using native plants.
Meet Valerie Marcel, a Columbia resident who enjoys spending her time nurturing her garden and making it as native as possible.
There were some things that I planted fairly recently in the last 10 years that were non-natives because I wasn't really aware. I was just looking for things to fill in my yard. So now, in the last couple of years, I've really been intensively trying to transition.
And this desire to transition has prompted her to take the time to fully understand what is best for this environment.
I have a number of things that I've been trying to nurture in the yard that I used to pull up and think were weeds. And I finally thought, you know what, this is what wants to grow here. This is what's adapted to the Sandhills climate.
In recent years, there has been a resurgence of people, especially in the Midlands, trying to do their part to help the environment by gardening with native plants. Native plants are defined as plants that occur naturally in an area and have adapted to local soils and climate conditions, and South Carolina is home to over 150 of them.
Gardeners like to not have things eat their plants, but this is kind of flips the switch. We want things to eat native plants. And in a balanced ecosystem, they don't destroy it. They don't, strip them down and kill them. And the plants are kind of expecting that, and they bounce back.
Lynn Yankee has been a part of the Midlands chapter of the South Carolina Native Plant Society for the past 2 years, and she credits some of her love of native plants to the book Bringing Nature Home by Doug Tallamy.
I finally read it when I moved here and was blown away and kind of became you might say, a native plant evangelist after that, because I believe the message is so critically important and it goes, so far beyond a gardening niche or trend.
And these native plants help preserve the balance and beauty of natural ecosystems. So to make it easier to find these native plants, groups like the Native Plant Society hold annual native plant sales so community members can go on their own native plant journey.
That's giving people some power and agency to do something good for the planet, which is a scary thing. You hear insect species collapse and climate change. What can I do? Well, this is something anybody can do on even a small scale at home.
All of this is why Valerie is so focused on ridding her yard of as many invasive plants as possible.
The more we can add to our yards that's native and the more lawn we can eliminate, the better chance other organisms have of surviving and supporting the ecosystem.
For Carolina News, I'm Madison Blumenauer.
If you are interested in more information about native plants, the South Carolina Native Plant Society can help guide you on what would be best for your yard.
Columbia Mayor Daniel Rickenman announced that the city is planning to send 50 bulletproof vests and a pallet of ready-to-eat meals to Ukraine. He announced this during a South Carolina Stands With Ukraine rally at the State House. The meals are coming from Columbia's emergency services, which have been gathered for a potential crisis.
So, everybody's finding their own way to resist this unacceptable situation in Ukraine.
The protesters also sang the Ukrainian national anthem in front of the State House to show their support.
If you have a carbon monoxide or smoke alarm made by Universal Security Instruments, it may be part of a nationwide recall. About 8,000 detectors made by the company could fail to notify homeowners to hazardous carbon monoxide levels. The models were sold from June 2017 through December 2019. Due to their long battery life, they may still be in use.
The South Carolina Department of Social Services launched a new website today. The agency said the new online central registry and database system will serve to speed up the process for the South Carolina Child Abuse and Neglect Registry that checks into potential employees. Response delays, processing times, and data entry errors will likely be cut down due to the new website. According to USDA officials, emergency SNAP food aid programs have been approved through April. The program provides expanded financial aid for food purchases. Recipients have been receiving extended aid as a result of the pandemic. It is unknown if the program will be extended beyond this month at this time.
A University of South Carolina study recently found that Columbia is losing its tree canopy. With the city expanding, developers are cutting down trees to make for more room for growth. But losing a great percentage of the tree canopy could affect temperatures in Columbia. Columbia could experience nearly a 600% increase in hot days by the end of the century if something isn't done to slow climate change.
Well, Alexa, I'm loving the warm temperatures here today.
Me too, Ryan. I hope it's going to stick around, but I'm not quite sure. Let's go back to Mac in the Weather Center and see what we can expect for tomorrow's forecast. Mac?
Thanks, guys. It is still scorching out here. Feels really good, though, if there's a little breeze. Tonight, it's going to get down to about 55 degrees, and tomorrow, we've got a lot of rain coming in, a lot of wind. So stay tuned. After the break, I'll have the full forecast for you. Welcome back to Carolina News. Time for some weather. Right now in Columbia, like I said, 75 degrees. We've got about 40% humidity and a small breeze, 7 miles an hour to the south-southwest. Looking across the state now, 75 in the Midlands, across Florence, Aiken, everywhere. But up top, Greenville and Rock Hill, we're looking at the low 70s. And then down in the low country, it'd be about 74 in Hilton Head, 73 Charleston, and the low of the day, 65 in Myrtle Beach. Going to tonight's lows, it's going to be about 55 here in Columbia, 54, and staying the same way across the Midlands. Up in the upcountry, it'll be about 49 degrees in Rock Hill, 50 in Greenville, and then down on the coast again, it'll be 63 in Hilton Head, 60 Charleston, and Myrtle Beach, sticking right around the same that they were the high today at 50 degrees. Now, tomorrow, we've got a lot of rain coming in, some severe weather coming from the southeast, other parts of the southeast, and it's going to stay all day tomorrow. And then this will be the timing. So it'll come in tomorrow in the afternoon, and this is a little bit right now, and then tomorrow in the afternoon it comes in, and then it'll move itself out tomorrow night. Wednesday should be okay, but Thursday we'll see it come back in again in the morning, right there. But looking ahead to our 5-day, Tomorrow, storms in the afternoon, but it'll be warm, 79 degrees, 63 for the low. Wednesday will be a little bit better, partly cloudy, not as much rain, probably not any rain, hopefully. 82 degrees, 67 for the low. Thursday, again, in the morning, it'll be raining, a little bit more of that leftover from the storm, but it'll be 77 degrees and 50 for the low. Friday, going in towards the weekend, we see a little bit of a temperature drop. It goes down to 66 degrees on Friday for the high, and then 44 at night. But it'll be sunny. Same with Saturday. It'll be even colder at 60 degrees for the high and 40. But it should be pretty decent weather. And speaking of some good weekend weather, we had some great weather this past weekend, and I had the opportunity to go to the Carolina Cup, and I was covering the races and even got a chance to talk with the chairman of the Carolina Cup Racing Association today about it. Check it out.
Come on, more!
After 2 years of adjusting to the COVID-19 pandemic, the Carolina Cup returned to its original date in Camden.
Just getting back to normal.
Absolutely.
So moving it up a month back to our normal date was very important.
Usually about 30,000 people attend the Cup, but it just felt a little different this year at Springdale Racecourse on the first Saturday in April.
Attendance was outstanding. I don't know actual numbers right yet,
Yeah.
but I do know that our overall ticket sales and overall sponsorship sales were up dramatically, even from last year, when we thought they were pretty good.
Many people think of bow ties and Lily Pulitzer when they think of the Cup, but Cox says there's more to it than just dressing up for a day.
You can see that it's purely personality.
Right.
It's the person's personality. It doesn't have to be Lily. It doesn't have to be whatever. That's a lot of it, but people wear everything they want to.
And on top of that, many people don't come for the horses or for the outfits.
The only thing that I heard definitely was that the Woodford Reserve folks sold everything they had.
I bet they did.
I mean, commemorative bottles with Carolina Cup, label on it specifically for the day. They sold every one of them, and they shut their trailer down early. And So the Carolina Cup will be back on the first Saturday in April again next year. And a little fun fact, the Carolina Cup has a special place in the Hardy household. My parents actually met at the 1991 Carolina Cup over 30 years ago. That's all that I've got for you guys today. Back to you, Ryan and Alexa.
Thanks, Mac. Sports is next on Carolina News.
Don Staley and the Gamecocks won the national championship last night for the second time in school history. Isaac J. Mays has more on how Carolina won the chip after this.
What's up, everybody? I'm Isaac J. Mays, and it's the dawn of a great week to be a Gamecock. After the long season, the women's basketball team is finally on top, winning their first national championship since 2017, and they did it against the UConn Huskies, who before last night never lost. The Gamecocks was the better team, and they looked like it, jumping out to an 11-2 lead early and grabbing almost every rebound on the floor. The Huskies tried to keep it close in the second half, but Destiny Henderson torched UConn late in the game. The senior guard scored a career-high 26 points, scoring 10 in the fourth. The Gamecocks will go on to win their second NCAA title and build on the new dynasty, 64-49. Coach Staley has more on the pressure to win.
Pressure because we were the #1 team in the country throughout the entire season. Pressure to come into the NCAA tournament and be the favorites by most people, not all. Certainly.
The Gamecocks return home from Minneapolis today, and as you know from Kyle, a welcome home event is right outside Colonial Life Arena. Let's get back to him to hear how the event's going. Kyle?
Thanks, Isaac. Yeah, the scene behind me looks a little different than it did just a little while ago when fans were shoulder to shoulder, screaming and hollering, bringing the energy. I mean, it was through the roof. Don Staley, the players, no one who was talking could even get off a sentence without the crowd erupting into cheers. Afterwards, Dawn was walking through the crowd, taking pictures with all the fans, really just soaking in every moment of her second national championship win with the South Carolina Gamecocks. That's all I have. Back to you, Isaac.
Thanks, Cal. Now on to men's, where tonight a champion will be crowned. Hubert Davis and the #8 UNC will go up against Bill Self and #1 Kansas. The Tar Heels will look to get their 7th championship, while the Jayhawks are looking to get their 4th. The game is tonight at Caesar Superdome in New Orleans at 9:20 p.m. And now for some quick Masters news. Tiger Woods could return to play for the Masters this week as he practiced at Augusta National yesterday, and he looked very pleased with his run. That is all I have today. So, Ryan and Alexa, There's a lot that we could be talking about, but we're national champions. How'd y'all feel?
I feel great. I went to the fountain last night to celebrate. Did you guys go?
I was there.
I was there for a little bit, but I ain't getting the fountain though.
You didn't get in?
Nah, I'm kind of scared.
Gotta keep those shoes dry.
Yeah.
Coming up next on Carolina News.
Beyonce is taking the term bling to the next level. See what jewelry she wore to the Oscars after party.
I am
Finally tonight on Carolina News, Beyonce became the first person to ever wear the most expensive Empire diamond necklace from Tiffany & Company. She showed off an 80-carat last weekend after the 2022 Academy Awards at her Oscar after party in Los Angeles. The necklace is known as the historic 1939 World's Fair necklace, and it was modernized from the original aquamarine design. The Empire diamond is outshined by the 128.5 carat Tiffany diamond, which is not for sale and is labeled priceless.
Wow, Beyonce really knows how to wear that bling.
That is a huge diamond, Ryan.
Shiny too.
And you know what else is shining? That sun. Let's head out to Mac in the Weather Center and get another look at the 5-day forecast.
Yeah, how about that rock? The thing was huge. But sun is going to go away tomorrow for the afternoon showers, but then it'll come back out later this weekend. That's all I've got for you guys. Back to you, Ryan and Alexa.
Thanks, Mac. That's all the time we have today. Thanks so much for being with us.
See you tomorrow. Have a great evening.